Welcome back to the EP Sports Zone. I'm Abby Hooven, sports editor of the Eastern Progress, and I'm here with my co-host, Zach Weston. How you doing, Zach?
Pretty good, excited to get this podcast rolling, filling you guys in on everything EKU sports.
Right, so this episode, we're going to just kind of be taking a look back at the most recent games for both women's and men's basketball and look ahead as they continue in the ASUN play. And then we'll also be discussing the latest results from indoor track and give a little bit of a preview into the softball season, which starts in about 2 weeks. So first we'll start off with men's basketball. Since the winter break, over the winter break coming out into this semester, they've gone about 5-6 with the one cancellation. They're currently 10-12 on the season, and they kind of had a rocky start in ASUN play, going 0-4 in their first 4 games, but came back, won 2 straight, and overall they're 2-6 in ASUN.
So we're really AW said we were weathering the storm, and that's true. We haven't had a full 12-man lineup for really any game this year, and that's something that's really crucial to how we play. Now, some good things. We're taking care of our business at home for the most part. We got that one loss to Marshall that we probably could have gotten that, but for the most part, we're doing our job there. And then on offense, we're really playing well as far as ASUN stuff goes. In conference play, we're averaging over 80 a game, which is tops in the league. So that's something we're really doing well.
Yeah, so far, we've got 5 guys averaging more than 10 points a game. Devontae Blanton leads the group with 11.1 points per game. We've got a couple guys in top 5 in ASUN and steals. Jamaru Brown's got 1.8 a game. Cooper Robb's got 1.6 a game, and that's really where they do their best, is when they're getting the steals, getting those plays in transition, and really keeping the defense tight so that the other team can't really get a run on them.
Yeah, Jamaru, it's really exciting seeing him step up. He was hurt most of last year and had a rocky start to the season, but as he's gotten back into game shape, he's really starting to kick it up. Had 20 a few games ago, and as we've had guys out of the lineup, Braxton, Jansen, he's really starting to reassert himself as an elite scoring guard.
Yeah, they've been battling adversity the past couple weeks. We mentioned Jansen and Braxton. Jansen's been in and out of the lineup with different injuries and things going on there. How does he kind of change the game when he's in versus out?
Yeah, so Jansen, when he's in, he gives our offense a whole new layer, Normally, if he's out there with Michael, and most of the time they share the floor together when they're both playing, we got 5 guys that can all shoot it. We play really spaced. He also blocks a lot of shots. That's something people don't really talk about, but he is a legitimate rim protector, so it lets us get really aggressive, going for steals, traps. So we play with a lot of freedom because he's sitting back there tending the goal. And then, of course, on offense, he's a guy you can just throw it to and say, get me a bucket. So when he's not in, we really struggle punishing opposing big guys. And then, of course, on defense, he's also really switchable. So on defense, we really kind of have a hole when he's not playing.
And in his absence, Tariq Balogun's kind of stepped into that center role. He's done a pretty decent job. He had 16 against Lipscomb. He just provides another big man presence, blocking shots, getting dunks, playing really aggressive on both ends.
Yeah, with Reek, the whole thing is when he's getting engaged, he'll get a block early or a rebound, and when he can sort of get into the flow early, he is a force of nature. A couple games last year, he would come in and just flip it. And it's happened a few times this year too. For him, it's just kind of as he's maturating, it's getting more comfortability in the offense, finishing and stuff. But also as Jansen's been out, Wardy's been giving us some good clock on the bench. What's he been doing?
He really just adds that extra level of spark when it might be a tough run against the team. He'll come in and just go. He can run. He can really provide some hops for the team. A lot of announcers just say all he does is dunk, but when he does it well. And he's just a good energy player, and he can also alter shots, get others involved. He's just really good at making sure that there's a lot of energy on the court, and other guys can feed off of that too.
Yeah, he's springy. That's what I'm saying. When I watch, when he gets in, he'll do 1 or 2 things a game where I'm just like, wow, How's he have the athleticism to do that? So that's really impressive. Without Braxton Beverly, though, that's where we're kind of trying to figure things out. He does so much for the offense as like a gravitational player. He scored over 1,000 points at NC State, and that's no small school. So when he's in, teams are really tuned in to stopping him, and he adds so much to the offense. And when he's not in, it looks a little different. But Isaiah Minter's gotten run in some recent games. He's a walk-on, but he's really filling in, I think, pretty well. He's not looking like someone that other teams can abuse. So that's been great as we're trying to get Braxton back.
Yeah, it's always been kind of a next man up kind of situation with guys out with injuries or COVID or things like that throughout the entire season. It's always been next man up, and it never seems to drop off. Every guy knows their role, they know what they're doing, and you don't really notice a difference in team chemistry because they work really well together no matter who's out there.
Yeah, it speaks to it, when we're playing, our leader in minutes a game is Cooper Robb, and he's at 29. I mean, we're not having anybody that's really being asked to go the full 40 minutes, and that's kind of our thing, press for 40, win for 40, do everything as hard as we can. And I think that shows offensively it really doesn't matter who's in. Richard usually is a bench guard, but he's had to start as of late. He's chipping in. Devontae Blanton's chipping in. Everyone's passing, everyone's scoring, everyone's a threat. So on offense, I think you can really tell that we play together. However, team defense, as we've had guys go in and out of the lineup, we've struggled a little bit. We're scoring 81 a game, which, in a Division I college basketball game, you'll take that if you're scoring 80. But on defense, we're having – it's not so much in like our starting defense. We'll come out, a team will run action, and we'll get a stop initially. It's when they break out of that and we're being asked to rotate. We've just got some guys that haven't seen it enough yet. And, as the season goes on, as these guys get more accustomed to playing together, I think that will resolve itself. So as we move into the end of the ASUN and into the conference tournament, I think you'll need to look out for us because we'll be rounding into shape. But you can see sometimes that we're struggling for chemistry on the defensive side of the ball.
Right. Now, offensively, we're shooting first in three-point field goals made and attempted in the ASUN. That's kind of where we like to spend most of our offense, is putting up threes, getting guys involved there. We're shooting 35.4% on the season, which isn't a bad number, and they're 42.7 field goal overall. So we're not doing too shabby offensively, but I think when we get the defense together, having both ends really strong is going to help us pick up some games that are kind of close.
Yeah, so looking at our last game against Florida, we'll look at our game against Florida Gulf Coast. We lost it by 4. So of course it'd be like, dropped one at home. That's probably not. Or no, it was at Florida Gulf Coast. My bad. Dropped that one at close when it hurts. But if you look, we really kind of played well. We got Jamari, who came back with 20, which is huge for him going forward, and we're going to need him to sort of assert himself scoring the ball. You had Tariq with 10 and 7. Kurt Lewis had 12 rebounds. We were really there with a chance to be there at the end, and that's kind of what you've got to ask for with how we've been with people coming in and out of the lineup. So that was really key for that game. I think that's something you can, they're 12 and 8, they're a good basketball team. So that's something we could really take a positive from, was being in that game late.
Right. We were only down 3 with 19 seconds. We had a chance to tie, but unfortunately Jansen Williams missed a 3. But overall, still a pretty close game, and I think, maybe we picked that one up at home. I don't know. It's just a tough matchup. But moving on to Saturday's game against Stetson, Stetson just shot out of their minds. I've never seen a team shoot that well, especially, shooting 67% on the night, 61 from 3. That's just big numbers. It's hard to top.
Yeah, I was watching that game live, and I'm looking, and I pulled up ESPN, and I'm like, EKU and Stetson are like 10 for 11 and 12 for 14. I was like, oh, dear Lord. And it's not like we weren't and they weren't playing defense. It was just, the basket was as big as the ocean. I think, again, you look at Jamar, who had 20 again, he's really, really starting to reassert himself on the floor. That's good. I mean, Mike got into one of his zones that we've seen him get into, and he's just the basket's huge. That was good. It was good to see Jansen also come back into the lineup, get 10. You could tell he was kind of working his way back into game shape, but that's good. But when you're playing at an arena and they go 67% from the field, they busted out a 17-0 run to end the first half, and we weren't even we were trying to stop them. We just didn't have an answer.
Yeah, it seemed like anytime we would try to get a stop, they would just nail a three. I mean, there's not much you can do when they're missing minimal shots.
Yeah, no.
And EKU seemed like any shot they put up just wasn't falling during that 17-0 run. So it's kind of hard to stop such a big run when your shots aren't falling and anything they put up seems to go down.
Yeah, you look at the box score. If you just look at our stats, we had 93. If you score 93, like I was talking about getting to 80, I mean, getting to 90, oh my goodness, sure. Merry Christmas to you. That's huge. And then 23 points off turnovers. You turned the other team over enough to get 23. And you still lost by a ton, which means that Stetson, something was they must have had that Michael Jordan water from Space Jam. I mean, something was clicking for them, because that's just, you're not beating that.
Right. Most games you hit 95 points, you're winning, maybe easily, maybe close, but it's tough going against a team when they have an out-of-their-mind shooting night.
Yeah, so looking forward to a week to come. On Thursday, we've got Kennesaw State at home at 7:30. They're third in the East Division of the ASUN, 4-3 winning record. They score 75 a game. Pretty average shooting the ball, rebound well. They're just a good, solid team. What do you think the keys are for us to have success in that game?
I think getting our post involved will give us another layer of offense. We know we can hit the outside shot. We know that we've got guys that can get in and drive, get kicked out to three, but getting big guys like Reek and Jansen involved in the post will really help when, if the three's not falling, we've got guys in the middle who can really pick it up.
Yeah, I think something we should look for, getting the ball inside like you're talking about. I feel like Kurt Lewis, he'll have a huge matchup. I mean, coaches are, I'm sure, staying up at night trying to figure out how to handle him. He's so strong for being a guard. I would expect to see him getting a lot done inside in this game, looking to take advantage of getting inside.
Right. And then after Thursday, they've got another home game Saturday versus Liberty at 7. It's also Cancer Awareness Night. They've got a team event beforehand honoring one of their former ball boys who passed away from cancer. So just a heavy night in that sense, but another heavy night because Liberty's first in the East Division. They're 5-1 in the ASUN. They've only dropped 7 games for the entire season. They're first in field goal percentage in the ASUN. So what's going to be key for EKU there? Yeah,
so another thing that Liberty does, they play really sound defense too. Liberty is just a well-coached, good basketball team. Like if you opened up your dictionary and you looked like good basketball team, it'd be a picture of Liberty. So what we've got to do, of course, we've got to get them out of their rhythm offensively. That's what they're really good at. They run offense. They're not trying to blast you scoring in 7 seconds. They're not trying to play hero ball. They're just going to run offense, kind of like Bellarmine in the ASUN in that sense, but they're just a little better at getting the shots they want. So what we're going to have to do, again, is pound it inside. They're going to cover the threes. They're going to get out there on those. If we're not generating threes in transition, we'll be hard-pressed to get those looks in the half court. So what we're going to have to do is start inside, get that foundation, steal them and press, but we also can't be afraid to just play in the half court a little bit. We're better athletically than Liberty. We can take advantage of some matchups, especially if we can get Braxton back into the lineup. He'll be a tough cover for them. So we got to run some offense, It's going to be really hard to get Liberty sped up. So I feel like we're going to have to try to sort of at least play even with them at what they're good at and then take advantage of the chances we do get in fast breaks.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, too. Blanton missed the Stetson game. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but it'll be definitely a big loss if he's not back for these upcoming games.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. He's our leader in and I know that we don't have like a quote unquote statistical leader. We got a lot of guys that get a lot, but Blanton's our leader statistically in points, rebounds, and assists. Offensively, he's kind of the fulcrum. He's the thing that makes it go because he attacks the basket, he hits shots, he's a good playmaker, he pounds the offensive glass. So not having him in the lineup, I mean, it's tougher. He's like the one guy in the lineup that we don't have a widget we can plug back in. He does Devontae things, which makes it a little harder to replace him. But we've got the depth. We should be able to weather it.
Right. So now, kind of moving on to the women's side, the EKU women are 10-11 overall, 3-5 in ASUN play, and over winter break they rattled off a 5-game winning streak after they went to Louisville, had a big loss there, but again, Louisville's ranked 5th in the nation. That's a tough matchup anyway, but they came back, beat Pikeville, they beat Appalachian State, the Cumberlands in Kentucky, Central Arkansas and Bellarmine, and that kind of got their rhythm back. And one player that's really key for them is Jayla Johnson. She's got 14.2 points per game, 4.5 rebounds a game. I mean, she's just really sound offensively. She can drive and get it. She can hit it from outside. She can hit the mid-range jumper too. So really, she's just very versatile in all aspects of the offensive game.
Yeah, she's a force of nature, and that's kind of how I would characterize how we like to play. A force of nature. We shoot a lot of free throws. We pound the glass. We're really trying to assert ourselves, and we did that in our run. The Bellarmine game especially, we went to war and came out on top. Other important players, Alice Recanati, she really helps the offense. She's like a steady hand, only scores 10 a game, which you wouldn't think's a big deal, but she's also got 5 assists, 2 steals. She's a solid guard, and that really helps us ready the ship.
Right. She seems to be the steady anchor for the offense. She knows where players are going to be. She knows where to get the ball, and she really just makes the offense a well-oiled machine. Now, in Thursday's game against Florida Gulf Coast, she rolled her ankle late, and she only played 20 minutes on Saturday at Stetson, so it'll be interesting to see if she's back to normal this coming week or if that's something that's going to linger, because without her, the offense just didn't seem to click as well because she's so steady at running the offense.
Yeah, it's tough to have your point guard go down like that. That's always hard to deal with. But I still think there's positives to take from that Florida Gulf Coast game. They're really good. 17-1 on a 6-0 streak. It's hard. We never led in the game, but we never quit, and that's good. So positives there. Against Stetson, we lost 70-52. They were 10-10. Kind of even teams. We just didn't happen to come out on top. We didn't shoot it well. That was the big thing. 18-54 from the field, 7-24 from 3. You're not going to win very many games doing like that. Bright spot, Emma Hacker. She had 14-9, just shy of a double-double. She's really been coming into form recently, and I think this is another game where you just kind of build. Alice was down, point guards out. It's hard to go on the road and win a game like that. So positives to take from that too.
Right. She played 20 minutes, but she had 0 points. But on the flip side, we had a couple bench players come in and really give us a nice spark. You mentioned Hacker, and then Calissa Lacey came off and had 9 points and on 3 3-pointers. She really likes to shoot the 3, and she's quite efficient at it as well. But, when you got Stetson up by 20, they outscored them in the paint 20-2 in the first half. I mean, it was just a difficult game in terms of foul trouble too. We had Johnson with 3 fouls in 8 minutes of play, and then you got Kirkwood picks up 2, Aaliyah Green gets 3 fouls in the first half, so they weren't playing the normal rotation that they could because of foul trouble. But you get players like Hacker coming in, just really giving energy on both ends of the court. It seems like anytime there's a jump ball or a loose ball running around, she's somewhere in the action, and I think that's really helping them.
Yeah, I think takeaway from this game is I think we're a little deeper than we might have previously thought. We lost to Stetson, but we got some people some valuable experience, and we didn't get played off the floor. So that's good. Good news. Yes, we're on a 2-game slide, but we've got Kennesaw State coming to town. They're in last place in the East Division of the ASUN Conference. That's always a good sight to see. They're only scoring 61 a game. They're giving up 66. This is a very winnable game for us. What do you think the keys are?
I think Eastern has to make their threes. Kennesaw State's making 4.8 themselves, but they're giving up about 7 a game. So if we can hit from the outside and really limit turnovers, playing sound offense, not trying to rush things, I think that's going to be key, is just hitting our outside shots and then playing sound defense and making sure we're not giving up those easy baskets.
Yeah, for this game, EKU's just we've got to play our game. Just play well. The rest will take care of itself. I like to think of stuff as like letters. So if we come out and play an A game, Kennesaw State would have to play like an A++ to compete with us. So just come out and do your job, and we should be fine. We should be fine. On Saturday, we've got Liberty at 4:30. Now, the exact opposite of Kennesaw State. They're second in the Eastern Division. They're 19-2, 7-1 in conference play. Their only loss is the Florida Gulf Coast. How are we gonna slay that giant?
Like the same thing with Kennesaw State, making threes, and we've really got to limit Liberty's ability to score. They're leading the ASUN in field goal percentage and rebounds, so limiting their easy buckets, whether that's in transition or off our turnovers, just limiting their ability to get easy shots, and then their center leads the team in scoring, so I think our post play is going to be really crucial, making sure we're putting a body on her at all times and not giving up easy layups and things like that.
Yeah, Jayla's going to need to have a big game. She's going to have to really assert herself and really, go to work. If she's going to have a big game for this to be a close contest.
Yeah, Coach Todd's a great coach. He's been around for a long time. It's his first year here, but I think he'll have his team ready, and he knows what's going to win the game, and I think we can do that.
Yeah.
So now transitioning from basketball, we've got indoor track going on. This past weekend we were at the Lenny Lyles Invitational in Louisville, and then we had some at the IU Relays on the 29th, and Ahmed Jaziri, he's just killing you as usual.
He's a monster. What can you say about Ahmed? Guys, I know track's not it's something of a niche sport, but if you haven't heard of the name Ahmed Jaziri, write it down, save it. This man's a star. He's elite. So he ran a time of 7:55.98 in the 3,000 meters at the IU Relays. That's not his best day by far. He's just trying to he's elite. He's just trying to turn it up for summer track, spring track. That's what he's doing. Got to remember that winter indoor track for the elite guys, of which Ahmed is one. They're just trying to get themselves acclimated. He's got the fastest time in the ASUN by 12 seconds. He could moonwalk at our conference championships and win handedly. He holds our record in the 3,000. He's ranked 34th nationally. He's elite. He was a first-team All-America in indoor last year, second-team All-American last year in the steeplechase. He's also the Tunisian national record holder in the 3,000 in the steeplechase. He shows up and wins. What more is there to say?
Right. And then at the Lenny Lyles Invitational, we still did great in other spots too. The senior Alicia Riccio, she had a personal best of about 2 minutes and 13 seconds in the 800 meters, which is ranked number 5 in the ASUN. And then we've got senior Jackson Siddall, who finished 3rd of 30 in the mile, running a time of 4:09. That's a pretty stellar race right there.
Yeah, a 4:09, you'll take that. That's you'll never hear a coach complain about a 4:09. I'm excited to see him go as the season goes on. His PR and outdoor is a 4:15. So he cut 6 seconds off. That's a pretty big jump comparatively. So I'm excited to see if he just kind of holds steady at 4:09, or if he starts to cut it down, and then you really get put on notice for outdoor if he's going to compete like that.
Yeah, that time, his 4:09 is ranked number 3rd in the A-Sun. His teammate, freshman John Badia Selma, finished 4th with a time of 4:10, so right behind him, and that time is ranked number 4. So you've got 2 solid guys in the mile who can produce some winning times for EKU.
Yeah, on the jump side, freshman Isaiah Allen, I mean, he's really, to speak like we talked about Wardy, I mean, this guy's springy too. Finished 4th in the field of 16 with a PR of 23.325, which is really good. That's a really good jump, and he's a freshman, so he's gonna grow. He's gonna do great things. Again, keep a bookmark on him as the season moves on.
One runner I've been excited about for this year and last year as well is Quintasia Perry. I mean, she holds the record for the 200 meters, and this past weekend she broke her own record. She finished with a time of 24 seconds flat in the women's 200 meters, and she broke the record in December, which she had set last year. So she's another one that's going to put up a lot of points for Eastern.
Yeah, she's a burner. Elite again. You know, she's gonna make some noise at the conference championship. She might even see her at nationals, doing some work. I mean, what is there to say? She just shows up, runs really fast, beats a lot of people, and goes home. Really professional in how she goes about it.
So coming up for the team, they face off at the Camel City Invitational in North Carolina on February 4th and 5th, and then they've got a group going to the Bellarmine Classic on February 4th as well.
Yeah, so moving on, transitioning from track, we've got EKU Softball. We're ranked 5th in the ASUN preseason poll behind Liberty, Kennesaw State, Central Arkansas, and Florida Gulf Coast. We lost to Liberty in the regional tournament last year, 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, that was a stellar year for EKU last year, winning the OVC tournament, getting a berth in the NCAA regionals. I mean, it's kind of interesting that Liberty was the one who kind of knocked us out, and now we get a chance to play them this year. We've got a good group of players coming back. 10 of the top 13 hitters are returning. The pitching staff's returning 3 pitchers. And one player to look out for is senior Sammy Miller. She's preseason All-ASUN Conference. She led the team in hitting at 400 last year. She had 5 home runs, 24 RBIs. I mean, she led the team in doubles, triples, walks, stolen bases. I mean, she's just solid all around, and she's really going to be crucial for us this year.
Yeah, she plays at a really high level, and she's going to do it again this year. Just shows up, does her job. Returning first baseman, we have a redshirt senior, Carly Robinson. Batted .318 last year, really good. 13 runs, 41 hits, 9 dingers, and 40 RBIs. Dingers are home runs. I can't call them home runs. Dingers just, it sounds way cooler. And then we've also got a utility player. She plays a lot of spots. Vianna Barron. Batted .262 last year, 16 runs, 34 hits, 5 doubles, 3 home runs, and 27 RBIs. She is a defensive stalwart. She comes in, you put her anywhere, and she'll make plays.
Yeah, coming off a record year last year, went to the first NCAA regional since 2004. And Coach Worthington, I mean, she's been around as the only head coach Eastern's ever known. And transitioning to a new conference, I'm excited to see how their success transfers from the OVC to the ASUN.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, it'll be a transition, of course, but I think with the year we had last year, we're going to be just fine. They opened the season February 11th at the Northern Lights, Southern Lights Invitational. Play Iowa and Wisconsin out of the Big Ten. I mean, talk about the ASUN being a step up. That's a huge step up. And then they got Pitt, Penn State, and Northwestern, who is ranked 23 in the nation. So they're going to go test their mettle on a bigger stage. I'm excited to see how they do with that.
Yeah, starting out the season against Big Ten teams is not an easy task, especially one ranked nationally. But, you know, we've got a good season ahead. We don't return home to play until March 15th against Dayton, but we also go on the road and play UK and they're ranked number 20 right now, so another good matchup.
Couldn't get easier.
Right. So it'll be exciting to see how they do, and we're hoping we can make it back to the NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make a statement in the ASUN this year. That's kind of what we've been doing all season with most of our sports teams. So I think and our softball team, I think they're gonna roll. I got a feeling about it.
Yeah, I stand corrected. EKU plays UK at home, so home matchup. It'll be good crowd there.
Pack the house.
Good to see fans in the stadium supporting our team, as always. So I think that's about everything we had there. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, that's everything for this week. Just one more thing on just something you guys can look for. And I'll just I'm going to try to call my shot once a week to see if I'll get it right. You can hold it against me if I don't. So for basketball, I'm going to say that for our game coming up, Kurt Lewis is going to get 20. We're going to win by like 10. So I'm going to call that shot. We'll see if it works.
All right. Well, that's all we've got for you today. Be sure to look out for our print edition of the EP coming out tomorrow, February 1st. It's a big year for us. We're celebrating 100 years of the Eastern Progress. We've got a great edition coming out. We've got a variety of stories from Progress alumni. One piece I did was on the first female sports editor, Marla Ridner, and just kind of her experiences. And she's gone on to make quite a name for herself, so that was an interesting interview to have. And then we've got another former sports editor, Ted Schultz, in there. We've got Rob Carr, who was a photographer and now works for Getty Images, and he gets to go all over covering the Derby. He covered the Olympics. I mean, he's made quite a name for himself there. So be sure to check out the newsstands for that edition, and we're quite excited to be celebrating 100 years and look forward to what's coming in the next 100 and even further. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to check out our website, easternprogress.com. We upload new content daily, and if you want to stay up to date on, live tweets during basketball games or just other sports news in general, follow us on Twitter at SportsEP. So, anything else, Zach?
No, I'm good.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of EP Sports Zone. We'll see you next time.
See ya.